Hello, I'm Bookface. Okay, we've got a lot to get out of the way here. First off, this was not the video I planned on doing this week, but life decided, hey, what if instead of having a very productive and intricate work week, I turned you into a lobster instead? No, I will not explain that. I will simply say, c'est la vie, and move on. Secondly, one of the reasons this video is a little easier than most is also one of the reasons I wasn't planning on doing it anytime soon, if ever. Now, we've gone through most of the big, pretty well-known, well-documented, and semi-believable aliens, but we're getting to talk about more and more obscure aliens. Granted, there are still some that I haven't talked about, but one of them is literally just white people. I'm not joking, they're called Nordics. I'm pretty sure their only thing is they're just white people. What a time to be alive. So I'm going to talk you through my process for finding all this information. A little behind-the-scenes look at the absolute chaos. So I look for different kinds of aliens on the Cryptids Wiki. Yeah, it ends in a Z, because it's just cool like that. Now, is this reliable at all? No. And unlike Wikipedia, which, technically speaking, anyone can add to it, but you're also supposed to cite your sources, and there's a list of sources at the bottom. So if you think, hey, this sounds a little questionable, there's probably a link somewhere to find a more reliable source. Not with wikis. Wikipedia, yes. Wikis, no. From there, I look up sources and try to find something a bit more reliable, literally anything, and then I do my research from that point. Basically, I do a big Google search with the base information from the wiki and try to find usually a book. That's usually my standard. If it's in a book, I believe it. A nonfiction book, of course. So I use unreliable, gimmicky stuff at the start. Why? Well, because otherwise it's just a bunch of UFOs of varyingly obscure shape. It's a flying dodecahedron. We're all gonna die. So I looked for all of these and went researching, and as expected, the information I was actually able to find in reliable sources was sparse at best. Certainly less than I'd usually try to get when researching stuff. So this leads us into the disclaimer for this video. A lot of these are probably a bit of nonsense. And if it isn't, then the universe is a lot weirder than I thought. But yeah, I kind of thought I was relatively done with this series. Like, I did some good videos. I like aliens. I feel like that was probably about all I could do that were at least semi-realistic. But, with how ridiculous the lumberjack folklore gets, I can talk about some ridiculous aliens too. So with that large amount of complaining out of the way, strap on your tinfoil hat and let's jump right in. First up, we have the Arboreal Abomination. Love that alliteration. Hey, that rhymed. Okay, so I checked everything with this one and found nothing. I found squat. I searched by, of course, the name of the creature, but also by the names of the witnesses, by location, by date and time. Yeah, all the way down to the time of day, and in varying combinations of those details. The closest I came up with was a single website, which actually shows up quite a bit here, that kind of listed a single book as a reference. And I did a search in Google Books to see if it was anywhere in there, and it said nothing about this creature. It didn't have the names, didn't have the creature. Oh, and aside from that, I also found several Tumblr posts. So, yeah, I don't really know if this is reliable at all in any way, shape, or form. But hey, if you have any resource for this, please let me know. I'm so confused. So just keep that in mind. This creature was sighted in Peru on August 29th, 1965, during the evening. So two dudes were driving down the road, 5 feet apart. You know why. They don't properly social distance. When they saw something in the middle of the road that they described as looking like a Martian, but they also described it as looking like a living shrub. What exactly do you think Martians look like? Or a living Christmas tree? Oh boy, love those holly jolly Martians. It was standing in the middle of the road. No, that's just not safe. Don't jaywalk, kids. Or aliens. Alien kids. It was a little less than 3 feet tall, had a single big golden glowing eye in the middle of its face-ish area, and apparently it had something that resembled tinsel on its body. Excuse me for a moment. Okay, where were we? But apparently, it actually had a bunch of smaller eyes hidden all over its body. What kind of Eldritch Christmas tree is this? And not long after they, saw the creature in the road, they saw a UFO, which apparently 12 other people saw too, but who knows? Love to know anything about their sighting. Next up, we have the Garson Invaders. Now, to my surprise, I actually found some information on this one. Yep, some sick resources. I didn't find anything saying the name. I think the problem is that the wiki and a particular website just really like adding cool names, which might be a bit of an issue with researching, since the technical reports would just say an alien that looked like this from this location, and that's all they give you. It was sighted on July 2nd, 1954 in Canada. First, a flying saucer about 25 feet in diameter was seen landing nearby, and then 3 creatures crawled out of the vehicle. The creatures were about 13 feet tall, had bluish-green skin, and apparently faces with some unknown color. Okay, Lovecraft, calm down.
Mysterious color, unlike any seen on Earth.
And also they glowed. They had 6 legs, big old crab claws, and antennae. And they also had 1 eye, cycloptic of sorts. This sounds like something you'd see in Subnautica. I think you just found a Leviathan. There are multiple Leviathan-class predators in the area. Is whatever you're doing worth it? I only just recently found that meme. Laugh. And the person witnessing this was understandably like, I am going to die, and tried to run for it. But apparently these giant space leviathans can freeze people in place with a hypnotic stare. Then it told him to do something, and he said he'd rather die than doing it, which, props to you, man. That's hardcore. And then they knocked him out and left. So the assumption is, and so the person never actually said what the aliens wanted him to do. So the assumption is that they wanted him to do something flat out world-ending and apocalyptic. And then there's some explanation about physics stuffs with nickel and cobalt. I don't know. I got bored. They want Make Earth Go Boom. And lastly, we have the Old Saybrook Blockheads. And I actually found even better info on this one. Huzzah! I'm not a complete failure at the moment. Sighted on December 16th, 1957 in Old Saybrook, Connecticut. The witness sighted a cigar-shaped UFO. Don't smoke, kids. Don't drive your smoking implements either. It would be rather difficult, but don't do it. Don't you do it. And this UFO was just kind of hovering in the backyard. 3 aliens were seen, but initially the person only saw 2 through like the windows of the spacecraft. And I just really hope that the last one just kind of popped up like a Jack-in-the-Box. Was like, ha, gotcha! I don't know why the alien sounds like that. Aliens looked humanoid with jackets flaring at the waist, big squared off helmets that had red lights on them. Wow, did you say style? Oh my, that's so... I've never sounded less enthused to make a joke. Look at that fancy styling from the aliens. I definitely enjoy this bit. And then the UFO had a little antenna that extended out, sparked a little bit, dragged it back in, and then they just kind of flew away. Oh great, now the aliens are just loitering.
Probe me.
And there we have 3 more aliens. There's no moral to this story. There's hardly even story to this moral. Yep. If you like this video, please leave a thumbs up, comment down below, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Bye!